Welcome back to Cameron Indoor Stadium here on the Duke campus. Duke has won its last 6 ACC openers, and they're going up against a Virginia team that has won 19 of its last 23 regular season games. Let's meet today's lineups, and we go to public address announcer Art Chandler.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The starting lineups for this afternoon's game. First, for the University of Virginia. Starting at a guard, a 6'4" sophomore from Fayetteville, North Carolina, number 10, Anthony Oliver. At the other guard, at 6'1" and a junior from Spring Lake, New Jersey, number 22, John Crotty. At the center, at 6'9" and a freshman from Bowie, Maryland, number 42, Ted Jeffries. At the forwards, at 6'6" and a junior from Indianapolis, Indiana, number 12, Kenny Turner. And at 6'5" and a sophomore from Freeman, Virginia, number 20, Brian Stiff. And the coach of the Virginia Cavaliers, making his final appearance in Cameron after a long and illustrious career, Mr. Terry Holland. Good luck, Coach. And now for your 13th ranked Duke University Blue Devils. At 6'4" and a senior from University Park, Illinois, number 3, Phil Henderson.
The start of the AC season just moments away for Duke and Virginia. Back with the tip-off.
Some people think only foreign companies build quality cars. Now, according to an independent survey, an American car company offers you a choice of some of the most trouble-free cars you can own. That American car company is Buick. And the 1990 versions of those American cars are Buick LeSabre, Buick Riviera, and Buick Electra Park Avenue. We believe there's a new symbol for quality on the great American road.
Sometimes you can tell by the way it looks. Sometimes you can tell by the way it feels. Sometimes it comes to you in broad daylight. Sometimes you find it in the middle of the night. But you know when you got the right one. This is the right one. You know when you got the right one.
George 117 in pursuit of request additional backup geographic. 117. Let's get a roadblock.
Chapel 1, do you receive?
Chapel 1 coming east. I'll light it up.
More police cars come on Goodyear Eagle radios than any other brand of tires. Why? Because they want it that way. Goodyear Eagles. There really is a difference.
Welcome back to Cameron Indoor Stadium. Duke comes in 9-2 overall, 4-0 here at Cameron, ranked 13th in the country. Virginia 8-1, and the last time that Virginia started the season with 8 victories in 9 games, they went to the Final Four. That was back in December of 1983. And stiff to jump. Dick Paparo lofts it high, and it's going to be controlled by Christian Leitner. And a whistle blows and a held ball, so we'll have to jump it again.
Bob, that first play, I think, is pretty typical of a Duke-Virginia game. Just guys scrapping and getting after it. We expect a very physical matchup today.
Leitner shaken up just a bit as he went to his knees, and now Mike Krzyzewski comes off the bench asking if indeed Christian is okay, and now he's going to come to the sideline. So a substitution, Greg Kubek will come in for Duke, and Leitner, in front of Max Crowder, bending at the waist with him to check on that right leg.
Looks like he hurt his knee. Gee, even I never just played 4 seconds.
Here's the tip, and it's won by Duke. Phil Henderson, picked up by Anthony Oliver. We're underway from Cameron Indoor Stadium.
Virginia starts in the man-to-man defense, and that's pretty much what we'll see from both squads today.
Henderson firing a 3.
Oh!
And the rebound stolen by Kubek. Tipped up and in by Henderson. Duke opens the scoring.
Duke starts with the man-to-man. Duke puts great pressure on the basketball. They also cover the wing passes pretty well.
Oliver picked up by Berkey inside. And Berkey the rebound. Averages just about 6 boards a game. Anderson beats Oliver on the baseline, but stepped down that end line, and the ball belongs to Virginia.
I think that's going to be a pretty important matchup for the Virginia Cavaliers. How well is Oliver going to be able to contain Henderson? Henderson's off to a great start this year, shooting the basketball extremely well.
And particularly well from three-point range, 56% from the land of the three. 2-0 Duke. 18:50 left in the first half, and Crotty works against Hurley. Here's the matchup, Dan, you were talking about earlier.
Well, it's a matchup that Hurley is going to really try to pressure the basketball. Crotty not only has to get himself loose for points, but he's got to get himself in good position to pass the ball.
Kenny Turner rebounded inside by Virginia, and Brian Stiff putting it home to tie the game.
Well, that's got to make Mike Krzyzewski a little unhappy. If there's one guy on the Virginia Cavaliers that you've got to block out every time, it's Brian Stiff. He's a great offensive rebounder. He didn't even have to jump for that one.
Pass broken up.
He just lost control of the basketball.
Now it's Turner. Trying to give Virginia the first lead of the afternoon. Backdoor cutting, John Crotty. A lot of bodies banging underneath.
There's Brian Stiff again with another offensive rebound. He steps on the line, though, so Virginia won't get advantage of a possession. John Crotty's got to get himself in position where he can score. Now watch this, he gets open, but here's the key to the Duke defense. There's Henderson coming over. That's great help, forces Crotty into a very tough shot, and if that's the kind of shots Crotty's going to take all day, then Duke is going to have a lot of success.
Anderson short from three. And a flat-footed rebound to Anthony Oliver. 2-2. Crotty taking Hurley toward the corner. Is open, and he buries it. Much more comfortable this year, Dan, at that wing guard spot rather than backing up the point as he did last year.
He's a guy that a lot of people from Virginia think could turn into their third real offensive threat. There's a three right there.
Bobby Hurley.
Speaking of offensive threats.
And a steal by Brickey, but he carried it out of bounds. 5-4, Duke leading. And the defensive hustle, getting a big charge out of the crowd. Boy, the Duke home court advantage with these fans and great players combines to produce that kind of a record. They are indeed impressive here in this building.
Well, the fans and, of course, the building have a lot to do with it because they've had great teams, Bob, and that certainly is no small reason.
Jeffries travels.
Interestingly enough, the Duke defense to this point, Bob, seems to be of a type of defense that the guys who are handling the ball for Virginia, watch them. It's Jeffries, it's Oliver, it's Turner on the half-court situation. Stiff has scored on offensive rebounds, but he really hasn't handled the ball in scoring position.
Christian Laettner back in the ball game for Duke after sustaining that injury on the opening tip. He's back in at the high post, number 32. Laettner to the basket. And fouls Brian Stiff on the rebound.
Well, you just call Stiff's name so much with that battle on the boards right there. That's a real nice move by Laettner to drive to the basket. Virginia didn't pick him up.
Brian Stiff last year named the ACC Rookie of the Year. Averaged 6.5 rebounds a game last year, 7 so far this season. And led this league, as you pointed out, Dan, in offensive rebounds a year ago. He's quite a player.
Crotty really having to work to get the ball up the court.
Loose ball, Virginia controlling.
Kenny Turner just standing there at the free throw line doesn't really help John Crotty. When Crotty's working that hard, you got to get in a position where you can take the pass.
Crotty for three. A rainbow rebounded by Laettner.
Once again, he gets a shot, but it's not an open shot. Very good defensive pressure by Duke.
Inside, Abdelnaby. And that's knocked out of the cylinder. Basket interference. Counts the bucket for Abdelnaby.
Brian Stiff is the guy who got his hand on the ball. Duke big men run the court very well. There's Abdelnaby. That's a great catch right there. You can see Stiff knocking the ball out of the cylinder. That's a very good call.
Looked like, Dan, Abdelnaby got away with stepping out of bounds on his drive.
I think that's what the Virginia coaches were complaining about. There's Brian Stiff. That's the first time he's handled the ball in the half court out of the offense, and all he could do was give it away.
Pressuring the basketball, and Hurley draws the 5-second violation on Crotty.
John Crotty was trying to set up Hurley to use Jeffrey's screen. Jeffrey needs to set a better screen than that.
Timeout on the floor. Duke leads Virginia 7-4. 15:47 remaining in the first half. And now a word from our good friends at Budweiser.
She's all ours. Going into customers.
Ladies' night.
Great place, guys. Who did your decorating?
Holly Farms, Newton Fisk, chicken inventor here. I've found a new way to make a better chicken. Only I have access to special Egyptian preservatives, which can make your chicken last forever. Give or take a week.
No way, Newton. Holly Farms chicken is always fresh chicken with no preservatives. Naturally meaty and juicy, just the way folks like it. No wonder we're America's #1 brand of fresh chicken.
I know. We pickle them. Hello?
At Holly Farms, we have a natural way with chicken.
Hello, Mrs. Jennings. This is First Union.
We'd like to ask you a few questions about service.
We're tough on ourselves at First Union.
Were you pleased with our service? Do you find our 24-hour banking machines reliable?
I'm a branch manager.
Did we greet you with a smile?
How long did your transaction take?
And I'm going to see to it that you get service that no other bank can equal.
Did we have the information you needed?
My job depends on it.
First Union service. We guarantee it.
In addition to great players here at Duke University over the past 50 years at Cameron Indoor Stadium, coaching greats as well. Look at all those victories for Eddie Cameron, Vic Bubitz, and Mike Krzyzewski. Vic, in fact, retiring this year as the commissioner of the Sun Belt Conference. 7-4, Duke leading, and the Blue Devils with it.
Bob, we talked about Virginia's shooting percentages being a key to the game. The Cavaliers are 33% right at the moment, and they're behind.
Buckley. And now the rebound comes out to John Crotty. Now John, a bounce pass, and there to pick it up is Ted Jeffries.
Well, I'll tell you, when Crotty's going to penetrate like that, Jeffries cannot stand there and watch the game. Crotty threw the ball where Jeffries should have been. Jeffries had to go get it. He wasn't set for the shot, and he missed it. Virginia fortunate to get it back.
Oliver inside to Stiff. Around Brookie. Rebound Abelnotti. And Duke's center averaging 6 boards a game and trying to elongate this lead. Inside to Leitner and wrestling the ball away is Kenny Turner.
Boy, that's great defense.
Oliver faking, firing, hitting. So Anthony Oliver with a couple of buckets early, and Virginia's within a point.
Virginia looked very comfortable in the fast break that time. Cavaliers doing a pretty good job making the turnover on defense and picking up a basket.
Jeffries bodying against Abdelnaby.
And with that whistle, Jeff Daniel gets his coat off. He's going to go in the ball game.
Terry Holland making the change at the post position. Jeff Daniel, a 6'9" senior from Indianapolis and a graduate student. Picked up his undergraduate degree last May. Speaking of good post defense, Daniel certainly gives Terry Holland that.
Virginia very, very physical on the defensive end of the court.
Outside, Leitner. Rebound, Brookie. His first basket of the game, and Duke leads 9-6.
Virginia's got a tough matchup with Abdelnaby inside. They really don't have anybody of a size to contain him, and that time Stiff was just not able to move Abdelnaby sufficiently far away from the basket. Allah kept that ball alive.
Here's Stiff, and that's an offensive foul. You saw him take his left arm and just wrap it right around Robert Brookie.
Pretty good call inside.
Matt London, first back from the Supers Bowl into the game for the UVA Cavaliers.
Speaking of physical post players.
Here comes Mr. London on cue. 14 minutes to play in the first half. 9-6 Duke leading.
Boy, Stiff very nearly could have gotten called for his second foul right there. Pushed Henderson out of the way. And Henderson drills a three.
And he just floated that shot to the basket.
Virginia's got to keep some pressure on him out there. You just cannot let him, with as well as he's shooting the ball, take those open threes. Great defense.
Hurley with a steal. And a foul on John Crotty. A little frustration for the junior guard as Hurley picked his pocket.
Hurley, we talked about before the ball game, needing to keep pressure on that man right there. Bobby Hurley has. And Virginia sputtering a little bit because Duke's defense has done a nice job keeping the ball away from Crotty and Stiff in good offensive position.
Dan, when we talk about the Duke defense, we always talk about the offense that it creates. Let's see if they can capitalize on another turnover here. This club is averaging 10 steals a game.
You know, Virginia, not a good shooting team. There's a nice pass inside.
Leitner hits neither. And we've got a foul on Greg Kubek.
You know, when you miss a shot like that, wide open right under the basket, it's almost like a turnover. It's going to end up being a foul. He catches the ball. He seems to be in real good position, but he just doesn't shoot it high enough. Then he shoots it over the basket. Credit Daniel with some pretty good defensive pressure. Kubek over Blundin's back.
You know, Dan, here's a guy, Christian Laettner, who set the Duke record for field goal percentage last year at 72%. He had gone 4 for 7 his last 17 coming into this game and missed a couple of chippies there. Now we've got a foul on Phil Henderson.
Henderson that time is Virginia running sort of a passing game on offense. Mismatch between Henderson. He got matched up against Brian Stiff. Stiff did a nice job getting position inside.
Crotty inside to Blunden. Back out to Jeff Daniel, and Virginia will set its offense.
London and Daniel are very good defensive players, very good rebounders, but they're not really much of a threat on the offensive end of the court.
Inside, knocked away by Brookie. It belongs to Virginia. Well, the quick hands of Robert Brookie.
Virginia changing the offensive set that time just a little bit, and you could see the ball was slapped out of bounds, but Virginia had the area cleared out for Brian Stiff in there.
Now the count begins. Virginia dangerously close to getting a 5-second call.
A little confusion on who was supposed to take the ball out of bounds.
12-6 Duke leading.
Oh, that's nice defense by Harley, and Bricky strips the ball.
And comes up with it on the sideline.
Pretty good effort by Daniel to get it. The pitcher's duel.
John for 3. Short. Right on the board.
Hurley right in his face. Hurley right in his face. Nice defensive job.
Duke leading 12-6. Virginia scored only 2 points in the last 4 minutes of this game. Anderson. The second of the game. He's got 8 points. And Duke leads by 9. John Crotty connects. So an answering salvo from the Virginia point guard.
It's almost that time like Crotty decided he was tired of this.
Here's Hurley penetrating. And we've got a foul on John Crotty, number 2.
John Crotty is such an important factor for the University of Virginia, picking up that second foul with almost 12 minutes left to go in the first half. Means a decision for Terry Holland.
And we've got a timeout on the floor with 11:56 to play in the first half. It's Duke 15 and Virginia 8. We'll be right back.
Some people think only foreign companies build quality cars. Now, according to an independent survey, an American car company offers you a choice of some of the most trouble-free cars you can own. That American car company is Buick. And the 1990 versions of those American cars are Buick LeSabre, Buick Riviera, and Buick Electra Park Avenue. We believe there's a new symbol for quality on the great American road.
I got married way too young. I mean, it was over in a couple of years. But I went to school, got a good job, made me know I could take care of myself. And now I want to do something. Make sure my baby girl is taken care of if, heaven forbid, anything should happen to me. Now, there is one good thing about being single again. And he's taking me out to dinner tonight. Mom, be on my tall or I'm grounded.
Jefferson Pilot, Insurance and Financial Services.
Did you know that now almost any size business can save with AT&T? If your business is spending as little as $50 a month in long distance, you can save 10 to 28% or more with the new AT&T Pro Watts. It works over your regular telephone lines, and you automatically get bigger and bigger discounts. The more you spend, the bigger the discounts. Whether you're spending $50 a month up to $5,000 a month, we have the one plan for you. Call us. We'll even waive the sign-up fee. Pro Watts, another AT&T advantage.
Coming up at halftime, we'll have a look at the Mazda game summary and review the first half action. 15-8, Duke leading Virginia with 11:56 left in the first half. John Crotty picking up that second foul for Virginia, and he is on the bench in favor of freshman Doug Smith. Virginia shooting 36%, Duke 43%. Here's Bill McCaffrey, his first shot of the day, and it rolls in.
With John Crotty out of the ball game, Bob, Mike Krzyzewski taking advantage of that fact and sitting Bobby Hurley down and giving him a rest. these other very highly touted freshman guards are going to get a chance to come in again.
Here's Smith with a bank shot for 2.
Well, I think his problem is, Bob, he's just a freshman. He doesn't know that this is Duke and Cameron Indoor Stadium. You're not supposed to do that when you just come off the bench.
You're not supposed to just walk in and nonchalantly hit your first shot. 17-10, Duke leading. Davis,
Virginia staying in the man-to-man. It's a little bit different kind of man-to-man than what Duke plays. Virginia's defense is a foul against Oliver, but Virginia's defense gets tighter and tighter as the ball gets closer to the basket. Duke, on the other hand, a lot more ball and pressure on the basketball out front.
Ala Abdelnaby back in, and Christian Leitner is going out of the game for Coach Mike Krzyzewski.
Leitner struggled a little bit in the ball game today. 0 for 4 shooting today. That makes him 1 of 11 in his last 2 games.
Started the season hitting 18 of his first 23. McCaffrey bangs another one in.
Boy, he was awfully quick with that dribble to the baseline.
19-10 Duke. The Blue Devils on a 12-4 run. Oliver, nice fake. McCaffrey the rebound.
Nice job by Duke.
Davis, quick step, and draws the personal. This one will be on Brian Stith. It'll be his second.
We thought we were going to get a very physical basketball game, and we certainly have. Robert Ricky's been matched up against Brian Stith most of the day, but here's Brian Davis matched up against Stith. You can see Davis, Stith trapped under the basket. Davis with a real good job there to hold Stith under the basket, keep him away from that rebound.
Number 20, Brian.
So Stith with 2 fouls and Crotty with 2 fouls. Dan, those are Terry Holland's 2 big offensive guns.
They score more than half the points between the 2 of them. They've averaged 35 points a game.
Brian Davis, the sophomore from Capitol Heights, Maryland. Missing the first of 2.
Actually, it's 37 points a game, Bob. Excuse me, but it's one of those deals where now Virginia, what are they going to do? They've been looking for somebody to pick up the scoring, and now it's not a matter of looking anymore. They got to have it.
Second shot by Davis is good. His first point of the game. 20-10. Duke has doubled it with 10:35 left in the first half.
Duke has really done a nice job attacking offensively. They've stuck the ball inside. They've driven to the basket, and that's why Virginia has some foul problems.
And another steal. This one by Brian Davis. And wisely kicks it out to McCaffrey, and he drills as a 2-point shot. But Davis didn't have anything on the break and pulled it back and got the open jumper from McCaffrey.
Duke is doing a nice job on the defensive end. Abdelnaby there very nearly gets a steal. But on the offensive end, you have to be impressed with the fact that Duke is getting the ball to people in scoring position. Abdelnaby's not handling out at the top of the key. It's McCaffrey and Hurley out there, and they're the ones who are scoring. Inside, they've done a nice job getting it to the big guys. So Duke really playing very well offensively at this point in the ball game. Terry Holland knows it, too. Here's his 2 guys with 2 fouls back in the game.
Turner connects.
Virginia has had no easy shots so far, Bob. That ball went in the basket, but it was under heavy pressure.
22-12, Duke, 9:45 remaining in the first half. Hurley inside Kubek, 14 for 2. Here's a guy that's come back with some added confidence this year in his shooting ability from the outside. Greg Kubek.
Really some good action on the inside. Abdelnaby matched up against Jeffries. Jeffries trying to hold him out. There's Abdelnaby now. Jeffries is playing in front. You could see there Abdelnaby, when that ball goes up, he turns and blocks Jeffries out. He was in perfect position for the rebound, but of course Kubek drilled it.
24-12, Blue Devils.
There's the return of Crotty, thus we see Hurley. Look how far away from the basket Virginia has to handle the ball. Duke's denying those passes.
This runner. Rebound to Bricky.
That's just great defense. Stith, of course, has the talent to make that shot, but if you require a person to shoot that kind of shot time and time down the court, the percentage isn't going to be very good.
Bricky had a notion.
Bricky shoots one from the 3-point line there. Mike Krzyzewski might have a notion.
Indeed. Now Robert gets a little more into his range. Puts it in.
Now you notice when Bricky dribbled to the basket, he turned around a couple of times. No pressure from Virginia.
Some pass by Crowdy, intercepted. Hurley, a long bounce to McCaffrey. 28-12 Duke. Timeout, Virginia. You can read the lips of Mike Krzyzewski. Good job. We'll be back in a moment. Now a word from our good friends at Budweiser.
It began as a game. It turned into a battle. And now it's out of control. Bud Bowl 2, coming January 28th. This time, it's war.
Some people think only foreign companies build quality cars. Now, according to an independent survey, an American car company offers you a choice of some of the most trouble-free cars you can own. That American car company is Buick. And the 1990 versions of those American cars are Buick LeSabre, Buick Riviera, and Buick Electra Park Avenue. We believe there's a new symbol for quality on the great American road.
It takes all the right moves to find lower grocery prices. Getting around gimmicks like double coupons or contests. Not being faked out by supermarkets with a few hot weekly specials. You'll catch them charging too much for everything else you buy. Besides, if you're shooting for low grocery prices, it's not how you play the game.
I gotta get to a meeting. So, next basket wins? Sure.
It's whether you win or lose.
8 minutes and 33 seconds left in the first half. Duke leading Virginia 28-12.
And Duke has really done it on the defensive end of the court, and Virginia their defense has not been as aggressive. Now watch Bricky. Bricky's going to take the ball, and as he dribbles, nobody really comes to help. Jeffries finally steps in, but Bricky is going to get him. He's able to get himself in position with nobody from Virginia dropping down. Now when Stiff tried to do that on the other end of the court, there was Blue Devils everywhere.
The backcourt scoring. Duke with a big advantage. Big advantage on the board. 28-12 with 8:25 left in the game. Duke warming up, shooting now 60% from the field, and another steal. We've got a whistle and a travel called on Duke. So that eliminates that steal.
That's just what we were talking about. You saw Turner start to the basket, and as Turner starts to the basket here, watch the Duke guys come and help out. There's Bricky. Suddenly now he's double teamed. That's the kind of defensive play that Virginia needs to get to try to get back into this ball game.
Bobby Hurley takes it away from John Crotty in a 3-on-1 Duke blowout to Leitner, and a great block by Virginia. Kenny Turner. Oh my goodness. Now Virginia. Loose ball. Crotty picks it up and scores. Boy, what a block by Kenny Turner.
Extremely impressive.
Single-handedly denying a 3-on-1 Duke break. Bricky outside. Crotty the board, and he's decked by Bricky and hurt. Crotty answers right up.
Pretty tough guy. He's going to bounce up off the court.
First foul on Robert Bricky. Well, here's that Duke fast break that Kenny Turner is stunted.
Turner's a very good athlete. You can see here he's got the 3-on-1. He commits himself now, gets up, got all ball right there. Not only does he takes the ball actually out of Leitner's hand with his left hand. He just took it away from Leitner. You wouldn't think that Kenny Turner was that strong.
28-14, Duke leading. Stiff, high bounce, tipped by Jeffries now. And Duke coming the other way.
Once again, another tough shot by Stiff.
Bobby Hurley. Rebound, Robert Bricky. Scoring. Nope, we've got a travel on Bricky. As he got the offensive rebound, shuffled his feet. Mike Krzyzewski can't believe it.
He wasn't saying good job that time.
No, he wasn't. 28-14, Duke. Crotty.
Boy, nice job by Abdel-Nabi to stop Crotty's penetration, and then great defense by Bricky.
And a great pass to clear the basketball over to Leitner.
Boy, that's the way you play defense right there. Boy, helping one another out. That's a great job.
It's 5 men in unison. Bad pass. Oliver on the deck, and finally Virginia controls. Ted Jeffries coming up with the ball. Well, the steals, you talk about team defense. Bricky's got 2, Hurley's got 2, Kubek and Davis 1 each.
Virginia's still trying to set up very far away from the basket. Every time Crotty tries to penetrate, there's another guy.
Jeffries banks it home.
That's a nice move.
Ted Jeffries' first bucket of the game, the freshman out of DeMatha, who prepped last year at Fort Union. 28-16 Duke, 6:10 left, first half. And knocked it away, Oliver. McCaffrey is open. Billy McCaffrey off the bench to score 10 first half points, and Duke leads by 14. Kenny Turner over Christian Leitner. Second bucket of the game. The junior from Indianapolis is averaging nearly 10 points per game.
Virginia seems to be in a little bit more even offensive pattern right at the moment. They've scored the last few times down the court in spite of some pretty good defense. What Coach Terry Holland has to hope is they didn't dig too big a hole to climb out of.
Abdel-Nabi, score it. Foul on Jeffries.
Abdel-Nabi working very effectively inside. You can see Coach Terry Holland just knows that his team's got his hands full. You see Abdel-Nabi holding for position in there. Good pass by Leitner. Stiff tries to come, and Abdel-Nabi just too big, and then he draws the foul against Jeffries.
McCaffrey going out with those 10 points. Leitner getting a breather. Greg Kubek is back in the game, as well as Phil Henderson.
Thus far in this game, Mike Krzyzewski seems to have a very nice offensive rotation with guys coming off the bench, people coming in, making contributions.
Offensive rebound, Robert Bricky, but John Crotty there to take it away.
And we've been talking a lot about Duke's defense. It's been real impressive, but Virginia has come up with an awful lot of steals itself.
Stiff operates. Good fake and a basket.
Virginia was able to get Stiff relatively isolated inside, and he does a nice job getting to the hoop, getting the fake, getting the ball up on the board.
Abdel-Nabi puts it in. That's a tough decision to make, Dan, whether to play in front or behind Abdel-Nabi.
Well, the decision, I think, has to depend on whether there's anybody behind you, and Duke had that pretty well cleared out. Virginia didn't pick it up.
Kubek backs down the pass.
Daniel was matched up against Abdel-Nabi. You get a look at Kubek right there, but if Daniel's matched up against Abdel-Nabi, it's a hard thing to do, but he's got to try to understand whether he's got help behind him or not. If he doesn't have help behind him, then you got to play behind.
34-20 Duke. 4:35 left in the half as Crotty nailed that pivot foot to the floor.
Boy, nothing easy for Crotty.
But it seems, Dan, like every time he picks up the dribble, here comes the double team. Stiff. Daniel. John going in. Draws a crowd. And we've got a foul out front. And it's on Bobby Hurley.
Well, Crotty is such a key ingredient, and I think this play was an illustration of the kind of frustration, the kind of pressure that Crotty has faced. He picked up the foul against Hurley, but as he tried to go to lane, again, I think all the Duke guys came over, try to make him give up the basketball. And what they're doing, interestingly enough, is you get a look at John Crotty. As Crotty penetrates, they try to make him pick it up, and they try to make sure that the person who's available for him is somebody other than Stiff. They've been very effective in that respect. Now, Daniel passed up a 13-footer. Stiff roll.
Ryan trying to roll it in. And Kubek clearing to Davis. 4:05 left in the first half. Duke leading by 14. Allah kept it alive and nearly tipped it into the basket.
Daniel playing in front of Abdel-Nabi had Blunden behind to help him, so they're able to force the miss.
That's a travel. And the Blue Devils will have the ball when we come back. A timeout on the floor. Terry Howland and the Virginia Cavaliers looking up at a 14-point deficit.
All you need to know about do-it-yourself projects is your neighborhood True Value hardware store. Turn on the beautiful polished brass Master Plumber faucet with 2 sets of handles, or enjoy the convenience of this single-handle chrome faucet. This Master Plumber high-rise kitchen faucet is great for large pots and pans. Or for one-handed use, get this single lever faucet. All Master Plumber faucets are backed by a 10-year limited warranty at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
The announcers for this game are selected and compensated by Raycom Sports and Entertainment and JP Sports. And the use of this broadcast without the express written permission of Raycom and JP Sports is prohibited. Bob Rathbun and Dan Bonner with you at Cameron Indoor Stadium on this Golden Anniversary Day. Duke leading Virginia 34-20 with 3:40 left in the first half. Virginia shooting 48% on 10 out of 21. Duke 56% on 15 out of 27. Duke's won the rebounding war 15-9 so far.
Virginia staying in the man-to-man defense. Henderson drops the ball. Pretty good pressure by Smith.
John Crotty goes past Hurley and puts it in.
Now in that transition situation, Hurley didn't have anybody to help him, so Crotty was able to make a nice move and penetrate by. And Virginia's got to get themselves some easy baskets. The way Duke's playing defense today, you don't want to have to play every time against the set defense.
Rookie kept alive by Abdelnaby, but rebounded by Jeff Daniel. Cavs can cut it to 10. Crotty working around a Blunden screen.
Crotty hasn't had an opportunity for any open three-pointers today. That's become a pretty big part of his game. So in shutting that off, Duke has cut off a key part of the Cavalier offense.
Blunden controls.
Now, he sort of fumbled the ball. He's a quarterback. He doesn't catch it, he passes it.
Doug Smith a 3. Daniel saves it into Bryant Stiff. And he's pounded on his way to the goal. This foul on Kubek.
Virginia, I'm sure, feels that it's time for some good fortune. Jeff Daniel was not trying to pass that ball to Stiff. That ended up what he did with it. He's trying to bounce it off a Duke player's leg out of bounds, and he missed. But it went right to Stiff and made a pretty good catch.
Last foul charged off the Nabi rather than Kubek, his first of the day. And this is the first time that Virginia has gone to the free throw line in the game. Christian Leitner back in for Duke.
You get to the free throw line by getting the ball inside, Bob, and Duke has had such good pressure on Crotty out in the perimeter, they really haven't had any lanes available to pass the ball inside.
Ryan Stiff, a 79% foul shooter coming into the game. Looking for his 5th point. Missed them both. Leitner the board. Tough to miss those free throws when they're trying to make up a big deficit.
Virginia, I think, would really like to get it under double figures in the first half, but they're not going to be able to do it with defense like that. Virginia defense just losing track of Leitner. Now, he was 0 for 5 before that shot, but it's hard to miss one of those.
And he draws the foul as well.
Leitner does an excellent job moving without the basketball, and that's the key to a play like this. Blunden just loses sight of him. Blunden's matched up against him. Leitner cuts behind him. Blunden goes ahead and fouls him.
One shot.
That's the 4th assist for Bobby Hurley, giving him 76 for the season. Robert Brickey going out of the game, and Billy McCaffrey already in double figures back in. Leitner with a free throw. 84% at the line this season.
Boy, what a turnaround. Brian Stiff is down and misses 2 free throws. And Duke is able to come up and get a free 3-point play. So what could have been like a 10-point game suddenly now balloons back to 15.
Big swing right there, no doubt. 2-minute mark of the first half. Kenny Turner. And Henderson the foul. It'll be the second on Phil, and will send Kenny Turner to the foul line. Now, here's a young man, Dan Kenny Turner, who has had 5 operations on his knees and has played some great basketball for Terry Howland here in the pre-ACC season. Had a career-high 19 earlier in December and has scored 4 today. A lot of grit and bristle for this young man out of Indianapolis.
John Crotty did a nice job. Crotty's such a tough kid. He penetrated by Hawley that time. Found Turner available inside. Last couple of trips down the court, Virginia's been able to punch that ball inside.
Terry Holland's going to make a change at the next dead ball and get Anthony Oliver in the game. Turner hits them both, and now Oliver comes in, and Crotty will go out.
With 1 minute and 56 seconds left in the first half, and a big deficit to make up in the second half, Coach Terry Holland certainly doesn't want his leader, John Crotty, to pick up that third personal foul. Virginia 1-2-1-1 press. Duke solving it pretty well.
Boy, McCaffrey's got it going today. That's a dozen.
What a shooter.
39-24 Duke. Stiff is out of the game as well for Virginia. He also playing with 2 personals. So again, the question comes to the house, who will score for Virginia? Picked out by Abdelnabi.
And this becomes a fairly important stretch for Virginia. They're already down by 15. 1 minute and 29 seconds is a fairly long time in a basketball game.
Well, now we see Crotty coming right back in and Doug Smith going out.
Well, Terry Holland obviously not liking what he sees out on the court without Crotty in the game, so maybe he just took John Crotty out and told him, hey, don't foul anybody.
1 minute 23 left in the half.
A guy like Crotty, though, is not a guy who fouls out with just defensive fouls. There, he picks up a foul. One of the things that you have to worry about with one of your offensive stars is he's not going to pick up 5 fouls on the defensive end. One foul that's going to kill him probably is going to be an offensive foul. So that's what he's got to be very, very careful of at this point. Mike Krzyzewski got to be pleased with what he's seen so far.
The last foul on Bill McCaffrey. Billy 6 for 6 from the field today.
Well, I'll tell you what, you've got a ball team with a guy who can shoot like McCaffrey, plus Henderson having the kind of shooting year that he's had. There's some firepower there.
John Crotty, 77% at the line, his 7th point of this game. In 3 games against Duke last year, John 9 for 26 from the field. So John comes right back out. Smith goes back in.
Terry
and 1 minute 16 left in the half.
Terry Holland had him in for offense. Going to take him out on the defense again.
Early tight ropes the sideline.
That's great ball handling right there. Nice job by Smith. McCaffrey was open for another one, but Hurley is weaving his way through that Virginia defense.
Duke leading by 13.
To go in the first half.
Early penetration, lets one fly. Kept alive by Abdelnabi. Rebounded by Blunden.
Abdelnabi's done that a couple of times. He's been very effectively blocked out, but he gets his hand up there and flips at the ball.
And Oliver travels.
The Virginia coaching staff really doesn't like that call. They felt that he did not move his pivot foot. Terry Holland is really upset. He did a sprint down the sideline there. Thought he was leaving for the locker room early. He was really mad.
The 13th Virginia turnover of the first half, and you see Terry really barking on that Virginia sideline. Now, Dick Paparo tells Kenny Turner to tell Terry to back off.
Well, that's... Having been in that situation, you don't want to go over there and tell Terry Holland, sit down and be quiet. If you do, you want to make sure he knows the message isn't from you, but that guy in the striped shirt.
Kenny says, Coach, I'm just delivering the message. 25 seconds left of the first half.
Excuse me, Coach, but I heard out there. There's a rumor about it.
Duke's going to take the last shot here. We've got 14 seconds to play.
Well, they're either going to take the last shot or stand there with it. Here we go.
Hurley looks.
That's a nice job by Blunden. That is great defense. Boy, what a nice job by Blunden.
Coming up to apply that double team, and had to Big defensive stop for the Virginia Cavaliers. After the turnover, the Duke Blue Devils head to their locker room with a pretty comfortable 13-point lead at 39-26. Dan, we talked about Mike Krzyzewski and his defense, and we saw that in the first 10 minutes of this basketball game.
Bob, it's got to feel like just deja vu for the Virginia Cavaliers. How many times have they come into this building with the expectation that they were going to be in the ball game, finally break this streak of Duke? Duke just took them out of the game in the first 10 minutes of the first half defensively. They ran to that 28-12 lead. Now Virginia's in the hole, and I don't know that it's a hole they're going to be able to climb back out of.
The Blue Devils getting some great outside shooting in this game from Phil Henderson. He nailed a couple of three-pointers. Bill McCaffrey off the bench to score a dozen. And Duke leads UVA 39-26. Stay with us. We'll be back with our halftime in just a moment from Cameron Indoor Stadium.
Today's ACC action is brought to you by Infinity, Jefferson Pilot Life Insurance Company, True Value Hardware, U.S. Air, Buick, and by Natural Light.
How do you get real premium beer taste in a non-alcoholic brew? You start with a real premium beer. That's how Anheuser-Busch makes new O'Doul's. O'Doul's is carefully brewed, fully fermented, and cold-aged, using only the finest ingredients. Then the alcohol is naturally removed, retaining all the great taste of a fine premium beer. So how do you get real premium beer taste in a non-alcoholic brew? Just ask for an ice-cold O'Doul's. O'Doul's, the taste will win you over.
When I was a kid, my father tried to tell me, son, someday you'll understand about responsibilities. Now there's my wife, Laura, our kids, Scott and Christina, this house, of course, 2 cars, 3 cats, and the fish. My dad said someday I'd understand. I guess that day is here. After all, who'd feed you guys if I wasn't here? Hey, who are you?
Jefferson Pilot Insurance and Financial Services.
Some people think only foreign companies build quality cars. Now, according to an independent survey, an American car company offers you a choice of some of the most trouble-free cars you can own. That American car company is Buick. And the 1990 versions of those American cars are Buick LeSabre, Buick Riviera, and Buick Electra Park Avenue. We believe there's a new symbol for quality on the great American road.
And 500.
That was quick, and I didn't have to wait in line.
We're going to make you smile yet, Mr. Todd. Waiting in line is one of life's little miseries we're doing something about at First Union. To serve you faster, our computer-based system predicts how many extra tellers we need at peak hours. As a result, we've cut your waiting time in half. Your time is important to us. And your smile is too.
First Union service. We guarantee it.
We're at the half at Cameron Indoor Stadium with Duke leading the Virginia Cavaliers 39-26. Welcome back, everybody. Bob Rathman along with Dan Bonner. And we're at the half, and it's time now for the Mazda game summary. And that's brought to you by Mazda Cars and Trucks. It just feels right. Dan, we talked about the field goal shooting at the top of our broadcast today, and Virginia's hit 11 out of 23 for just under 50%. Pretty good shooting day for them so far. Duke 17 out of 31.
Well, sometimes statistics can be a very deceptive thing, Bob, and I think that overall field goal to shooting percentage for Virginia, that's about what they shoot for the year, but they went through a stretch there early in the first half where they couldn't throw it in at all because of some pretty tough Duke defense. So Virginia did much better toward the end of the half, but they really dug themselves a hole. Now, you get a chance to see here what we mean with the Duke defense. Bobby Hurley really hawking John Crotty. You don't see the ball there, but what you also see is how far away from the basket the ball is. When Stitz finally gets the basketball, it's after a few passes around. Virginia's going to get the ball inside here, but look at this defense by Duke. Stitz fouled. He went to the free throw line, missed them both, but I think there was a couple of points there. Number one, it took Virginia so long before the ball even appeared in your picture, and secondly, anytime they got the ball even close to the basket, there were 3 or 4 Duke guys there to guard it. Just some great defense by Duke. Virginia Virginia has struggled offensively as a result.
Yeah, there's a couple of ways you can go about beating it. One is to try to beat it down the floor, and Virginia looked pretty good in the transition game.
Virginia played well a couple of times in transition, but to get that kind of a transition game going, the other team has to miss. Duke 17 for 31 in the first half. McCaffrey coming off the bench to hit 6 field goals. Henderson shooting very well. So Duke, both offensively and defensively, has really been in firm control of this ball game from the very opening.
No question about that. We'll continue with more. We're at halftime here at Cameron Indoor Stadium with the score. The Duke Blue Devils 39, Virginia 26. We'll be back in a moment.
Considering all the people we serve, all the places we go, and all the times we go there, it would take a lot of airlines to be U.S. Air. U.S. Air, America's most frequent flyer.
If your light bulb burns out, your dimmer won't dim, or your extension cord's gone bad, then it's time for a quick trip to Lowe's, because Lowe's has everything you need to fix anything you have that has anything to do with your home, period. So why don't you fix it?
For whatever you need to maintain your home, we have it all at Lowe's.
Just fix it.
Fans, just a reminder to pick up your ballots and vote for your choice of Pepsi's Best of the ACC. One of the candidates, Virginia's super sophomore Bryant Stitt. Last season was outstanding indeed for Bryant. He broke Ralph Sampson's freshman single-season scoring record and was named the Atlantic Coast Conference Rookie of the Year. Remember, ballots are available at Pepsi and Diet Pepsi displays, and we'll be announcing the fans' choice during the 1990 ACC tournament.
In the ACC, the best player has the right touch, the right moves, the right shots. Who's the best? Vote in the Pepsi Diet Pepsi Best of the ACC sweepstakes. Pick up a ballot at any Pepsi display, and you could win 2 tickets and a trip to next year's ACC tournament, or a 1990 Pontiac Grand Prix. Vote for the right one in the Pepsi Diet Pepsi Best of the ACC sweepstakes.
Well, you saw in our Pepsi feature sophomore Bryant Stitt of Virginia, and Dan, no doubt that he's a marked man today for that Duke defense. He had only 5 points in this building last year and has only 4 today in the first half.
Well, Bryant Stitt is one of the people that Duke has to stop, and as you say, only 5 points last year. They did it last year. They're obviously doing it again today. Virginia really has to find a way to get him open for some easy opportunities.
Our man Paul Cameron is standing by. He'll update you on the college basketball scores and the rest of the sports news in a moment. ACC basketball continues after these messages from your local ACC station.
When you see news happen, press *5 on your cellular phone or call 1-800-245-WRAL from any phone anywhere. The WRAL News hotlines.
At the St. Petersburg Times, press operators had to wait while pages were sent by hand from an office miles away. But then, with the help of GTE, they came up with a way to send those pages over fiber optic phone lines, saving precious time and money. You see, at GTE, it's not just communications we offer, it's solutions. Call us. We deliver.
Put $5,000 in a CD at most banks, and all you'll get is a standard rate. Now, put $5,000 in a CD from United Carolina Bank, and you'll get their high yield rate. And if you act right now, you can get this week's rate plus passport banking with no monthly service fee. You get custom checks, credit card discounts, free traveler's checks, over a dozen extras. It's simple. You can get their rate or a UCB rate with all the extras. So what are you waiting for?
Saturday night at 10 p.m. on WRAL TV 5.
And welcome back to halftime at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Time now for our Budweiser scoreboard. Let's take a look. Our score this afternoon, it's the Duke Blue Devils leading by 13 points over the Virginia Cavaliers at the break, 39-26. Elsewhere, couple of ACC teams in action. North Carolina State Wolfpack taking on the Temple Owls in Atlantic City, New Jersey. A year ago, the Wolfpack debuted their new unitards against Temple. This time around, those unitards probably hanging in the closet. 6-point lead at halftime for Jimmy V's club. Oklahoma State trailing Missouri, number 7 ranked in the country, at halftime, 39-28. Also, number 14 Arkansas leading Texas Tech at the break, and South Alabama beaten by Lefty Driesell and James Madison. That's a final 90-84. Well, earlier in the pregame show, we introduced you to the 2 new head basketball coaches, the new faces in the ACC. Now let's introduce you to the brand newest of new faces. He is the new head coach here at Duke. His name is Barry Wilson. He's been around the ACC a long time. Assistant coach with Bill Curry down at Georgia Tech in his years. 3 years. Here's an assistant coach with Steve Spurrier, and Steve's gone on to Florida, and you get the top dog job.
I'm excited about it, Paul. It's Duke University is a great school. I've had 3 years here to really get a feel for the school and the way things are done here, and I can't say any more about what a great institution it is. I'm very pleased and proud to be a part of this great tradition here.
You were along with Steve Spurrier at the Tampa Bay Bandits pro team, and you know, Duke has been known as a wide open team, but this year you really had a great running game. Randy Cuthbert, you're getting him back. You're getting a lot back inherited for that next year. I know you got to be excited about that.
Certainly I am. Randy Cuthbert is a great back and did great things for us this year, and he's returning, and we're looking forward to that. Billy Ray, our quarterback who started the year, sustained an injury just before the end of the season. Then we had Dave Brown came in and did a tremendous job for us. So we certainly have some outstanding players returning. Unfortunately, on the other side, we lose approximately 30 seniors who have played a lot of football, 2 All-Americans, several All-Conference players, and there'll be some big holes to fill. But I'm excited about the challenge. I'm excited about Duke University, and I certainly look forward to a long association here.
Do you change something, Coach, things that have worked so well in the system here, or do you try to put in what you think might work a little better, or do you change it around the talent that you've got coming back?
Paul, I certainly hope to make a smooth transition in the sense that I don't want to come in and try to change everything. We have done some outstanding things here. Steve Spurrier is a mastermind as an offensive coach. We have an excellent system, so I certainly hope to keep the best parts of what we've done in the past. I want to bring in an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator. Certainly, I want their input. I want their background and expertise. But I fully intend to use a great deal of what we have done in the past, because certainly it's been successful, and I don't want to change that.
That's Barry Wilson, head coach here at Duke University. Spring drill's not that far away. August just around the corner. That's the eternal dream of every football coach. Thanks for being with us here today.
Thank you.
We're coming right back. Bob and Dad are set to bring you the second half of a good game. Duke in Virginia from Cameron Indoor Stadium in Durham.
Take a close look at Ford Aerostar, and this is what you're likely to see. Because with all its capability, like more available V6 horsepower than any minivan, standard rear anti-lock brakes, and remarkable towing ability, people who own Aerostars really use their Aerostars. Oh, you'll occasionally see one standing still. Not that Aerostar ever needs to take a break, but sometimes its owners do.
Now get 4.8 financing for up to 48 months or a $1,000 cash bonus on Ford Aerostar.
If your light bulb burns out, your dimmer won't dim, or your extension cord's gone bad, then it's time for a quick trip to Lowe's, because Lowe's has everything you need to fix anything you have that has anything to do with your home, period. So why don't you fix it?
For whatever you need to maintain your home, we have it all at Lowe's.
Just fix it.
Raycom Sports and Entertainment and JP Sports exclusive coverage of ACC basketball is brought to you by Mazda, Holly Farms, Lowe's, Gillette, and by Ford.
We're at the half at Duke with the Blue Devils leading the Virginia Cavaliers 39-26. Stay tuned for the Holly Farms Player of the Game Award, brought to you by Holly Farms, America's #1 brand of fresh chicken. Holly Farms will contribute $1,000 to the Atlantic Coast Conference to be distributed among the member institutions under a conference-approved plan. That's the Holly Farms Players of the Game to be awarded near the conclusion of our broadcast. Our halftime statistics brought to you by US Air, showing Virginia shooting nearly 46% from the field, Duke 55%. But Dan, I want to focus in on that turnover story. 13 for Virginia, and 8 of those turnovers as direct result of Duke Stevens.
One thing that you have to consider with a team like Virginia, they don't shoot the ball very well. That 45% is not that much different than the 49% they're shooting as a team coming in. But when you have a team who shoots the ball like all the guys on the team are named Bronk and Butch and things like that, you've got to be able to have good possessions each time down the court. So Virginia, very poor from the free throw line, only 66% right there. Their turnovers, you just can't turn the ball over. You've got to take good advantage of each opportunity because you know coming in you're not going to shoot the ball very well. Duke, on the other hand, they've really had a very good first half, both offensively and defensively. McCaffrey coming off the bench to score 12. Henderson with 8. Henderson 3 of 5 from the field. Has those 3-pointers at 2 of 4. Mike Krzyzewski talking to his troops right there. McCaffrey 6 of 6. Just a real fine first half for Duke.
The Blue Devils huddling around Mike Krzyzewski.
And one other thing that you have to look at, Bob, if you're Virginia and you don't shoot the ball very well, then lots of times that makes it extremely difficult to come back from way down in a basketball game. And Coach Terry Holland is well aware of that. Look for Virginia to try to step up the pressure defensively. Toward the end of the first half, they did so. They were able to play a little bit better in the transition. If you can get Crotty out in transition, then I think that's really going to help Virginia. And you may see the Cavaliers go in that direction.
John Crotty was 3 of 6 from the field for UVA and scoring those 8 points. He missed 2 3-point attempts. Billy McCaffrey a perfect 6 for 6.
26 points at halftime for a college basketball team really is not a very good number. Plus, of course, the other teams got fewer than that. But
Virginia with the ball to start period number 2. Ryan Stitt outside Anthony Oliver.
Bob, you know something? When Oliver caught that ball, he wasn't ready to squeeze the trigger. He had to shuffle his feet in to get in position. Bricky misses the dunk. If somebody throws you the ball, you got to be ready to shoot it. If you're a guard and you're supposed to shoot it, that's a walk right there.
So the Blue Devils turn it over, and here's the busted alley-oop.
Boy, this may have been more than Virginia could handle if Bricky makes this one. It's a good pass. He catches it. Just harder to do than it looks sometime with all the guys that can do it.
Boy, and for a man, Dan, who scores 41% of his field goals on dunks, a rare miss for Bricky. Ryan Stitt putting it in.
Boy, there's that Duke defense again, putting it in spite of pretty good pressure. 3 guys around him. Just a great individual move by Stitt.
Leitner into Abdelnaby. Fires, hits.
There's some good defense by Virginia. They came down to help. Abdelnaby did not dribble the ball. He didn't put it on the floor for anybody to get. He's played really well. He's shooting more than 70% from the field in his last 4 games.
Tipped away. Abdelnaby comes up with the ball.
Number 9 in the steal column for the Blue Devils.
And Hurley all the way.
First time I've seen him play in person, Bob. I'm extremely impressed.
Basketball-wise, beyond his years.
Well, that's for sure. You just don't expect that kind of a play out of a freshman. He was really very confident.
Great training, playing for his dad, New Jersey, with the #1 high school team in the country last year. Here's Jeffrey, air ball, and out to Duke.
One of the things that you try to do offensively is to get the ball, to set up your offense so you get the ball to people in positions where they can score, and that obviously, I don't think Virginia designs their offense to have Jeffrey shoot from about 12 feet.
We've got a whistle and a foul, and I think this is going to go against Duke's Christian Leitner.
Yes, it is. Jeffries, who we were just talking about, having the air ball on the offensive end, fronting Leitner down low, getting pushed.
And working on the perimeter. Now in it goes to Stitt, and Abdelnaby comes to help out. And Bricky with a foul.
That looked like a replay of the last Virginia series down the court. Here now Crotty throwing the ball. Here comes Abdelnaby. The last time he got the ball. Crotty there to recover this time, though. You see they're trying to get the ball to Stitt. This is a great job by Abdelnaby to come over and knock it away. Whoever he's guarding has got to go somewhere to make himself available to hurt Abdelnaby. Abdelnaby can't be doing that.
Crotty is open and drills the 3-pointer. Early came flying at him at the last minute, but Bobby got picked off inside.
That's the first time Crotty's had an open 3-pointer today.
Bricky. Short with it. Jeffries wrestles the rebound away from Lakeman. Now Virginia run. Turner drops the ball. Crotty. Got it.
Maybe Virginia should put that in the offense there. A little drop the ball, have the other guys pick it up, dive on the floor, get it, throw it to Crotty for the jumper. I like that play.
And dissatisfied with his team's play, Mike Krzyzewski calls a timeout. 17:25 left in the half. Now this from Natural Light. The Duke lead is 10 with 17:25 remaining. The Blue Devils with the basketball. Cavs have come out to start the second half, hitting 3 of their first 5 shots, 2 of them by John Crotty, 1 a three-pointer.
Virginia's gotten some good shots in the second half, and even a team that shoots the ball poorly, which the Cavaliers do statistically, can make good ones.
Quick shot for Henderson. Crotty the rebound. Virginia can get it under double digits with a basket on this possession. Henderson right in Oliver's shirt. Kenny Turner left alone.
Kenny Turner is a good open jump shooter, and he had a lot of time that time.
So Virginia crawling back into this one. 43-35.
John Crotty on down on the court, shaking his fist at his teammates, trying to exhort them along defensively. Duke a little slow out of the blocks to start the second half.
Inside Laettner gets bumped. Missed the shot. Foul Jeffries.
Good catch inside by Laettner. Duke showing some good patience, punching the ball inside. Jeffries has to go out to help against Abdelnaby. Turner caught behind Laettner. Laettner with a pretty good size advantage in there. Jeffries drops down from the top, but not able to get there in time. Jeffries going to go take a seat. Blunden is going to come in the game. Turner also out. Jeff Daniel back in.
Christian Laettner, 84% foul shooter. 7th in the ACC at 16 points a game. Has but 4 today. Missed his first 5 shots this afternoon.
It's been a very physical game inside. Bumping around makes it hard to shoot a high percentage sometimes.
Laettner 3 for 3 at the line today. 45-35 Duke. Crotty dumped it inside. Bricky was standing right in front of Brian Stitt, but Virginia comes right back to get the basketball.
Bricky trying to dribble the basketball before he really controls it. Then look around, see who was where. If had he not given it up, he would have been a double dribble.
Stitt in the paint. Wheels up. Nice clutch. Gets it back. Missed it. Punched out by Daniel. Rebounded by Oliver.
Boy, good scrap. Good scrap by Virginia. Stitt taking it powerfully to the basket, getting a couple of opportunities. Oh, nice pass.
Indeed to Oliver, but he couldn't finish it off. And Laettner gets it ahead to Hurley.
Bricky with some pretty good post defense.
Here's Laettner going in. Rebound Blunden. Good defense that time by Daniel to step over.
Absolutely. Talking about post defense. Daniel steps in. Laettner had a lane to the basket. Daniel cut it off.
Here's Oliver and a block on Robert Bricky. Good call on the baseline. Second foul on Bricky.
You'd like to shut off the drive to the baseline, but Bricky's more concerned about Stitt, so he waits a little longer than he might normally to come off Stitt, and so he's not able to get there in time to get his feet planted. Nice job by Oliver. If Oliver or Crotty can penetrate from the outside, then that's going to free up somebody like Stitt inside, because his man has to then come over and help out.
15-minute mark approaching second half. Duke by 10. Crotty. And there's a foul on Bobby Hurley.
Virginia that time in the offensive set really spread out the Duke defense. Crotty with a little bigger lane to the basket than he's had most of the game. Picks up foul number 3 against Bobby Hurley.
Crotty got those 2 quick ones in the start of the game, Dan. Now Hurley has 3 fouls, and John still with those 2.
Crotty, of course, an experienced player, and you learn to play with fouls.
So John steps up to the line, where today he is 2 on 2 and 76% 57% this season. You see his numbers today. Short with that one. Both of these teams have done a good job at the line coming in. Virginia 72%. Duke a league-leading 78%. Here's a young man with only 17 turnovers in his last 7 games coming in, pulling Virginia within 9 at 45-36. Kubek, no shot. In it goes to Leitner. Rejected by Turner, and a foul on Turner.
Turner had the great block against Leitner in the first half. This time, trying to get him again. This is a real good pass. You see, Blundin's got to go out to guard the shot, and when he does, that opens up Leitner. Blundin was in front. Daniel was behind.
Boy, I'm looking for the contact here from Turner. Maybe we can see it on this angle.
See, Kubek, he's an offensive threat from out there, so Blundin's got to go and get him. Turner called for the foul. That's what happens. You get the ball inside. The officials don't call fouls. They call what look like fouls, and it looks like a foul from an angle. From the angle we had, didn't look like there was any contact, but the one thing makes it a foul, and that is the official put the air in the whistle.
Leitner's at 4 straight free throws.
I got shooting him.
Abdelnaby is in for Duke. Christian Leitner going out of the game. 14:57 left in the contest. Duke leading by 11.
See what kind of job McCaffrey's able to do, matching up against Crotty.
Oliver. Henderson with a block from behind.
You know, Bob,
beat him, and Henderson catches
he had
up.
a lane all the way to the basket. Why he elected to pull up there? Gee, he had a lane all the way to the basket, but by pulling up and stopping, he gave the defensive man an opportunity to block the shot.
Threw back inside, scored. Probably couldn't believe he was that wide open. Crotty busts a double team. Spins it in.
Boy, and busting is the perfect word for that. He just exploded through all kinds of arms. Looked like he was going through a turnstile or something. He stumbled through there. Was able to get it to go.
49-38 Duke. McCaffrey, his first miss of the day. John Crotty, three-pointer, yes. John with 19. He's got 11 here in the second half with 2 3-pointers, and Duke is within 8.
He's got 11 in the first 8 minutes of the second half, and you can see the kind of offensive half that he's had. He's got Hurley on the bench in foul trouble. That time, just a nice job against McCaffrey. There's Turner cutting off the baseline.
This is as close as Virginia has been since it was 12-6.
We've talked a lot about Duke's defense, but you see Kenny Turner with some real good defense right there, getting through Kubek's screen, cutting off the baseline, very nearly making the steal. Excellent defense. Turner has had a pretty good ball game today.
Boy, that he has. 8 points and a couple of clutch baskets for Virginia. Brian Davis handling it for Duke. A shot by Henderson.
Nice job by Duke to get the ball in Henderson's hands. He's had a great year shooting the ball, and he drilled that one.
He's been in double figures in every Duke contest now. Here's a travel on Crotty. Just when Virginia gets back within 8. A basket by Henderson, and now a turnover.
Again, you sort of call what you see, and I think the reason for that call was that ball bounced so high on the dribble. I don't know whether he really walked or not, but it looked bad.
Abdelnaby,
he walked.
And there is a travel indeed.
Now the Duke coaches, now the Duke coaches get the opportunity to stand up and say he held that pivot foot. Now the fact that he made it 7 feet from one place to another is immaterial.
10-point lead for Duke. Doug Smith needs some help. Somebody comes to the ball, and it's John Crotty. Knocked away by Henderson, and a foul on Henderson. Krzyzewski claiming that Crotty throw a forearm.
Well, Crotty may have. If he did, he was retaliating. He had perfect reason to. This is really a tough series. It gives you some idea of the toughness of these kids. Now, here's Crotty sticking that elbow in McCaffrey's chest. Davis gets his hand on the ball, and here's Crotty trying to wrestle it away. Crotty is a tough, tough kid.
The foul on Davis is his first.
Oh, my. Why would you throw the ball to Crotty there?
And now we've got some pushing and shoving as Crotty got into that double team. And
well, Crotty really feels like he's been harassed to death all day, and he's very upset. He claims that the officials are letting him on his back. It's going to be a turnover for Virginia because the possession arrow pointing in the direction of the Duke Blue Devils.
And Terry Holland at the Virginia bench.
Now the problem here is the inbounds pass. That's just Crotty who actually tripped. He was falling down when Brian Stiff threw him the ball. Brian Stiff put his teammate in a very difficult situation with that inbounds pass.
And now we've got Kubek and Crotty with some pushing and shoving, and a foul on Greg Kubek.
But Crotty's mad now. Crotty's mad, and he's got to be very, very careful. That foul, I think, is a good call against Kubek because he was moving on the screen, but Crotty is in there, and he's pushing and he's shoving, and he's going to get a foul if he doesn't watch his step.
12 minutes and 50 seconds left in the second half. Virginia trailing by 10.
And the other thing is you really got to keep your cool out there. You don't want to get yourself so excited you take yourself out of the ball game. Virginia making a pretty good comeback. They've got to stay, got to keep their composure.
Now the Duke fans with a round of boos as Crotty gets his hands on the ball. Here's Daniel going in. That's a block by Bricky and a rebound to Leitner. Up to Bobby Hurley. Duke pushing it ahead. Hurley. Leitner. Foul inside. And it's on Jeff Daniel. Belly up against Abdelnaby.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's a foul that hasn't been called throughout the game today, Bob. But with the tempers heating up a little bit, the officials really reacting quickly, trying to make sure that nothing gets out of hand here. You can see, you know, based on all the contact, that's right there is the reason for the foul. Just before the official stepped in front of your picture right there, you can see Daniel with his arm wrapped around.
Inside, Allo.
He got pushed.
Leitner. 9 for Christian. Duke by 12. Crotty, a long bomb. Buries him.
He got to guard John Crotty from the three-point range. Crowd, of course, having a little fun with Crotty. He's just the kind of guy who eats that up, though.
53-44 Duke.
Really tough matchup for Turner inside against Leitner. Nice job by Stiff to drop down and help out. You can see Stiff can play off a little bit because Bricky not really an outside threat.
Oh, my! Henderson! Caught the pass in midair and backed it home. And the ball belongs to, let's see. Well, we got a timeout on the floor, and it's going to be Duke ball when we come back. 11:28 to go, and a timeout on the floor. It's Duke 55 and Virginia 44. Stay tuned for the Holly Farms Players of the Game Award, brought to you by Holly Farms, America's #1 brand of fresh chicken, and a prime candidate, John Crotty of Virginia.
He's got 14 of Virginia's 18 points in the second half. He's taken over this ball game for Virginia, but the Cavaliers are still behind by 11 points. Duke doing a nice job preserving their lead in this ball game.
That was a turnover on Virginia right before we went to that last commercial break. Here is Bricky motoring in, and that's an offensive foul.
And Brian Stiff really hit his head hard going down. That's 3 fouls now against Bricky. We've talked about the kind of defensive efforts that have been going on the basketball court. Brian Stiff's been matched up against Robert Bricky just about all day, and those two guys have sort of neutralized one another. Stiff only with 6 points in the ball game. That time he turns the tables against Bricky. Does a nice job drawing the charge.
11:10 to play. Duke 55, Virginia 44. Crotty going to work. Oh my, what a move.
Boy, what a player he has become, Bob. He has really, really developed his game. That's a great penetrating move.
Leitner with a running start and a foul on Kenny Turner.
Now, you would expect a fellow like Kenny Turner at about 6'6" to be quicker than a big guy like Christian Leitner, but you mentioned it before, all that knee surgery, 5 knee operations for Turner, really limiting his quickness. Leitner, the big guy, doing a nice job taking the ball to the basket from the top of the key and drawing the foul.
And a steal by Crotty in the inbounds pass. Crotty taking it right to Hurley, and a foul. I think it's on Henderson.
Well, Henderson certainly reacted very badly. Yes, it is. Get a look at Bobby Hurley right there, and he was at a disadvantage from the get-go on that. Leitner threw it right to Crotty. some reason, he must not have seen John Crotty right there. Here Crotty with really, he knows he's got Hurley in trouble, and he penetrates by. The foul called on Henderson, reaches in from behind. Bobby Hurley, we heard that whistle, thought maybe the foul was against him. That was an interesting expression on his face.
Crotty missing the front end of the 1-and-1.
Boy, you can't afford that in a game like this when you're trying to dig yourself out of a big deficit. Crotty only 1 for 3 from the free throw line in the second half, but he's 6 for 6 from the field.
Alla couldn't control it. Brookie does. Left it short. Alla again sticks it in. Couple of offensive rebounds for Duke and a pass to the wing, and Davis chasing after it. Fouls. Check it, Brookie rather. Coming up with the foul. He saw that lob go into the wing and went after it.
I think Terry Holland's a little upset with his team right at the moment. They got a pretty good defensive stop, if you will, against Duke, but nobody blocked out. And so the Blue Devils were able to get the offensive rebound and put it in.
The fourth foul on Robert Brookie sends him to the Duke bench.
And he has been so valuable defensively today against Brian Stiff. We'll see if maybe Stiff gets more into the flow of the game now that Brookie's on the bench.
7 points in the game for Stiff. He came into the game averaging 20.1 points per game. Hits them both. Keep in mind, too, Dan, as we come down the stretch, but 14 fouls on Virginia. So it'll be a while before Duke gets into the 1-1. Maybe they can gamble a little more defensively. 10:05 to play, second half. Here's Hurley going in. Scoop shot, no. Abdelnaby on the back of Jeffries. Hurley's got it in the corner.
Jeffries just not doing a good job blocking out. Once again, real good defense by Virginia, but the defense doesn't end till you got the ball.
Anderson trying to drive, and a holding foul called on Anthony Oliver.
Boy, that's got to frustrate Terry Holland. You know, these Duke-Virginia games, anymore for that guy, it's like watching a John Wayne movie. You've seen it about 100 times, and he's getting up calling timeout. But how many times has his team, particularly coming down here, gotten behind early, then tried to fight back into the game, and then just a couple of plays don't go their way?
A timeout on the floor. 9:50 left in the second half. Duke leading 57-48. And we'll be back after this word from our friends at Natural Light. Along with Dan Bonner, Paul Cameron, this is Bob Rathman back at Cameron Indoor Stadium. 9:50 left in the second half. Duke 57, Virginia 48. The Blue Devils with the ball after that Terry Holland timeout.
Virginia and Duke both have played man-to-man defense the entire game.
Tipped away. Stiff controls. Now a foul on Leitner.
Boy, that's a big break for Virginia. That whistle blew. You could have called it on any of those three guys who were there in that pack. It's now 4 fouls against Christian Leitner.
So he joins Brookie in the 4-foul category.
Virginia once again doing a real nice job. That's a great play by Turner to tip the ball away, but then as the ball bounces away from everybody, Leitner, Turner, Stiff all meet. The foul's called against Leitner, and as you pointed out, Bob, Virginia in the bonus. Duke not even close yet. They still got 2 fouls to go before they get there.
So a chance for Virginia to take up some ground without the clock running. Stiff with his 9th point of the game. This is his lowest scoring game of the season.
As the game has gone on, though, Virginia has figured out ways to get the ball into the hands of Crotty and Stiff. They're 2 big guns. Crotty with 22, Stiff now with 10.
57-50. Duke leading Virginia. And the Blue Devils throw it away. Out of bounds to Virginia.
That was a good decision by Brian Stiff that time. He probably could have got to the ball, but you don't want it to dribble off your hands and go out of bounds. He knew it was Virginia ball, and he knew there was no Blue Devils around. Mike Krzyzewski, a little more concerned look on his face right at the moment as Virginia draws to within 7.
Each team has turned it over 19 times in this game. Turner, boy, a big possession for UVA. Here's Jeffries. Outside Oliver. And the jump stopped, and he turned it over, and a travel.
Was a big possession, Bob, and it results in a turnover for Virginia.
Duke is forcing 22 a game, and Virginia's coughed it up 20 times now. 57-50 Duke.
Now a big defensive series for the Cavaliers.
Laker backing in on Turner.
He blocked the shot.
Got a piece of it indeed. And the Cavaliers answer with that defensive stand. Boy, Turner's played a marvelous game. To Jeffries, couldn't find the handle.
John Crotty asking the official for a foul against Ala Abdelnabi, and that's got to drive a coach crazy. Here's team, they've cut it to 7, and they turn the ball over 2 possessions in a row. You know, they score on both those possessions. It's a 3-point game.
Henderson.
And a team like Duke makes you pay for it.
Bill with 14. 59-50 Duke. Ryan Stiff. Up top to Oliver. Outside, Turner. Got it.
There's that standing jump shooter again. Virginia moving the ball pretty well. Turner stepping into the gaps.
A 7-point Duke lead at the 8-minute mark. Abdelnabi. Nice play.
Boy, he did a nice job getting position. Nice catch.
To the task, he's got a dozen.
Both teams look a little tired right at the moment, Bob. There's not the same kind of intensity that there was earlier in the ballgame. That's not surprising. Playing very, very hard.
61-54. Turner again the rebound, and again Virginia with the opportunity to knife into that lead. Oliver on the break. Rolls it home.
What a great job by Crotty to force a commitment early by the Duke defense to free Oliver. Virginia right back in the game.
That they are. Timeout Duke. 7:03 remaining in the second half. It's the Blue Devils 61, the Virginia Cavaliers 56.
There is a point at which all things must evolve. For small cars, that point is here. Introducing the Mazda Protege, a small car that's expansive in room, powerful, and born of Kansei engineering, so the way it feels will change the way you feel about small cars. The new Protege from Mazda.
It just feels right. Sometimes you can tell by the way it looks. Sometimes you can tell by the way it feels. Sometimes it comes to you in broad daylight. Sometimes you find it in the middle of the night. But you know when you got the right one. This is the right one. You know when you got the right.
Honey, have you seen my basketball shoes?
Choosing a supermarket that fits your lifestyle is a lot like choosing the right shoes for a big game. Some are simply too expensive.
Try Bobby's Quad.
Others rely on gimmicks that are out of style, like double coupons or games. Some just don't live up to your expectations. There is one supermarket that fits the smallest pocketbook and still has room for plenty of name brands.
Here they are.
Food Lion. If you foot the bill for groceries, try us on for size.
7:03 left in the game. Duke's lead down to 5, and the Cavaliers are coming.
Virginia has done a great job in the second half moving the basketball. They've gotten much better shots in the second half. Here in the transition, John Crotty doing what he does best. Watch him blow by late, and there forces Hurley to commit, and that frees Oliver for the real good pass. And Virginia attacking so well offensively in the second half really has Duke hurting and in foul trouble. The Blue Devils only had 8 fouls in the first half, but Virginia piling them up in the second half with real good movement offensively.
And the fact the Cavaliers are shooting 61% from the field in the second half. 5-point Duke lead. Inside to Abdelnabi. Yes.
Another good catch inside to Abdelnabi. It has really helped the Blue Devils hold off Virginia thus far, that they have that option of getting it in there to the big guy, and he produces.
Stiff with Kubek. Now inside.
That's on Bricky, I think.
If it is, it's his fifth.
No, it's on Abdelnaby. He's going to get called for the foul. But Kubek, with Bricky in there with 4 fouls, Kubek is matched up against Stith. You can notice there's just not the same kind of pressure on Stith. Kubek, a good defender, but he doesn't have the kind of skills defensively that Bricky does. And Stith has been more of a factor in the ball game. First getting Bricky in foul trouble, now attacking more effectively against Kubek.
One of two things that has turned the tide in favor of Virginia. The other, Dan, had to be the play of John Crotty with his great shooting here in the second half. 63-56 Duke, and Ryan Stith to the line. Ryan missed those 2 foul shots in the first half, but has come back to knock in 5 in a row.
Have to be impressed with the defensive effort of Virginia in this second half as well. They've been able to rally back in the basketball game, and they still only have 5 team fouls.
14 to Stith. Again, Virginia pulls within 5. 6:23 the time remaining.
Duke has had a lot of success going inside. Abdelnaby's out now. Let's see if that's where they go again.
Henderson. Now Hurley looking for an opening. Across to Kubek. Wasn't ready for the pass, but now controls it. In it goes to Leitner. Off balance. Scores.
Once again, they go inside and they convert. Real good play by Leitner.
So Duke able to hold Virginia at arm's length.
London's got to get down inside. If he stands outside, Ricky's able to double team Crotty. Now he goes inside.
Steph had his pocket picked from behind by Henderson. Henderson spins in and draws the foul on Oliver.
As Duke has done so many times, they get in trouble and their defense bails them out. Stith never saw Henderson. Oliver was standing back, hanging a little bit beyond the top of the key, not really occupying Henderson. Henderson taking advantage to steal the ball and get down and draw the foul.
Into the lineup for the Cavaliers, replacing number 20, Brian Stith.
The Duke Blue Devils this season have made a living at the free throw line, averaging 26 foul shots a game. But today, they're just 6 of 8. And now Robert Berkey moves up there for the first time today. This is an area of his game that he's improved. Our second Henderson's going to go up there now for Duke. He has not been to the line today. 84% free throw shooter. The first for Phil gives him 15 points today. Averaging 18 points per contest.
Better leave his hand now. Key turnovers for Virginia as they try to come back in the game. That was another real good steal by Phil Henderson.
Misses the second shot, but Leitner is there. Too strong. Daniel falls down, and that's a travel, so Duke gets it right back.
You got to block people out off the free throw line, and Virginia lets Leitner get the rebound. Then when Daniel's able to control it, he falls down. That's another turnover for Virginia.
5:29 left. 66-58 Duke. That's the 6th team foul on the Cavaliers. Way out to Hurley.
Duke with the opportunity to stretch it back to a 10-point lead. They're going to try to spread the floor a little bit.
Everybody above the foul line.
Duke's going to try to run some time off the clock.
Shot clock at 25 seconds.
Duke's going to set up in a regular offense.
Out of the double stack. Henderson coming across, but the pass goes to the other side. And Kubek tipped away. Shot clock at 5 seconds. Leitner short. Rebound to Turner.
Duke trying to go inside, but Turner was the guy who tipped that ball away, and they're coming over the back of Bricky very effectively without fouling.
Daniel. Now Oliver picked up by Henderson.
Duke turns up the defense a notch.
Crotty, baseline runner.
Drives by Crotty, or drives by Hurley. Hurley falls down. Crotty, 7 for 7 field goals in the second half.
26 points for the game. A 6-point Duke lead and 4:10 to go. Henderson. Air ball.
It's off the hand to Stiff. That's a big break for the Duke Blue Devils. Virginia, pretty good rebounding position inside, but Duke getting a break because the ball doesn't hit the rim, goes off the hands of Stiff outside.
Leitner triggers and throws it into the backcourt, but that
Which is
illegal
okay.
play.
That's not a backcourt violation. Not a bad idea, really.
Not at all. Early up top to Leitner. Bricky's jump shot.
Well, I don't know about that shot in that situation. He's open, but that's really out of his range.
Stiff. Now Daniel around to Crotty. Couple of threes gets Virginia even. 3:35 to play. And it goes to Turner. Through Leitner. No. And the foul on Duke.
Turner has been a consistent threat for Virginia. Has hit a couple of jump balls, that time operating inside.
The foul is on Christian Leitner.
I thought that he had 4.
Yeah, and I believe that is number 5.
No, I just heard the PA announcer say it was his 4th foul, so unbelievably, we've made a mistake.
Write it down, fans. January 6th, 1990. Bricky will go out of the game. 3:27 left in the contest. Duke leading by 6.
These are some key free throws right here for Kenny Turner.
Here's a final. NC State with the win over Temple, 74-71. Turner with 11 points in this game.
Really helps Virginia to have somebody besides Crotty and Stiff in double figures. This is the guy that just about everybody feels they're looking for either he or Oliver to step up. A lot of people feel that he's a very likely candidate, and he's been today. He's had a real fine game.
Boy, he's going to be hard to dislodge from that starting lineup, to be sure. Turner with a dozen. 66-62 Duke. 3:22 left.
Virginia staying in the man-to-man. Daniel now trying to operate inside against Abdelnabi.
Well, they are really leaning on each other inside. A lot of crossing with the post people for Duke. Now Daniel's matched up with Leitner. Hurley penetrating. Throws it up and off. Blocking foul for John. Gives him 3 in the game.
When you've had such success inside, such as Duke, in the second half, it really makes the defense think about it. Crotty has to be concerned about the pass inside, and as he approaches Hurley, recognizing that he's got Crotty at disadvantage, penetrates by. You saw just before that replay, Coach Terry Holland shaking his head.
So here's Hurley, an 84% free throw shooter, and this is his first collegiate season. 5 points in the game.
Well, he's had a real good game, but I think he's gotten a little bit of a lesson here in the second half from John Crotty. Crotty with just a tremendous second half.
Well, there's the Duke free throw story that we alluded to earlier. Can't believe how cool this kid is, Dan. 7 for Hurley. 68-62 Duke.
Well, Crotty's been raining the points on top of his head, Bob, but it hasn't seemed to bother him. He's out there working every time. Hasn't affected his game offensively, certainly.
Holding foul on Hurley, and he barks about the call.
Well, he's got to be careful barking about the call. The last thing in the world he wants is a technical. His coach, Mike Krzyzewski, is not particularly thrilled with the call. Mike walked down to the end of the bench. Now he's on the way back, and he's not doing that strictly for exercise.
That's the 4th on Bob. So Bricky, Leitner, and Hurley all with 4 personals. Virginia cashing in with their opportunities here in the second half. 9 out of 10 at the line. And wouldn't you know, the one guy that missed the first shot was this man, John Crotty. Here's the Duke foul trouble. Crotty's got a 1-and-1 coming.
Mike Krzyzewski putting in Billy McCaffrey with the thought probably to get some offense. Ricky, you remember a couple series ago, took that jumper from outside. Well, you don't have to guard that jumper if it's Bricky taking it, but with McCaffrey in the game, you got to cover that up. So look for McCaffrey's presence in the game maybe to open up the inside a bit. Crotty misses that one.
Oh, and nearly an offensive rebound for Stitt. Henderson in the corner. That's a double dribble and a travel. That gives the ball over to Virginia.
Well, now, if it's a double dribble and a travel, and both of those signals were given by the official, does that mean like 2 turnovers if Virginia gets the ball twice?
2 for the price of 1.
Absolutely.
Number 5.
68-63 Duke. A 5-point deficit for the Cavaliers.
Ricky matched up against Stitt again.
Inside Turner, powers to the bucket. They wave it off and a foul on the floor on Duke.
And who's it on? Ricky and Leitner both look guilty.
Well, either one, they're gone.
That's against Leitner.
Fifth on Leitner. The Christian exits with 2:27 to play.
Both guys, whenever you got 4 fouls and that whistle blows, you get very concerned, particularly if you're around the ball. And both Ricky and Leitner, their heads snapped up and they look, oh no, not me, but the foul's on Leitner.
You start to smile a lot at the referee.
They try to be very friendly.
Leitner goes to the bench, 11 points, just 3 out of 12 from the field in this game. The shooting slump for Christian continues.
Now, Virginia guarded him pretty effectively in there. Very physical inside, so just because they're close doesn't mean they're easy all the time.
Turner puts it in. 13 today for Kenny Turner. So the Cavaliers have really stepped up the pace at the foul line. You see Turner's numbers today. 11 of 13 in the second half of the line. Turner hits another one.
And they're within 3, Bob. I'm really impressed with this Virginia comeback. I thought they were dead and buried.
They scored but 26 first-half points and trailed by 13 at Cameron Indoor Stadium on this golden anniversary day. And Virginia trying to break a 15-game losing streak against the Blue Devils. Abdelnaby over Daniel. Short rebound. Out of bounds to Virginia.
It looks like Bricky got hurt on the play. He's down in the lane. Appears to have hurt his right knee.
Max Crowder and Mike Krzyzewski coming out to check on the fallen Blue Devil. 2:06 to play. Virginia within 3 and in possession of the basketball. And everybody at Cameron Indoor Stadium now focusing their concern on Robert Bricky.
Jeff Daniel operating inside against Ala Abdelnaby. You can see Abdelnaby turns the basket. That's a great play by Daniel. See Bricky in here. He gets his legs sort of tangled up. Oh, that's what it was. Abdelnaby falls on the knee. The ball is off Abdelnaby.
And Bricky having that knee flexed by Max Crowder. And, oh, you just...
Well, that would be a serious loss for the Duke Blue Devils, but that looked like almost one of those replays that you see in a football game when somebody gets hurt, a lineman falls across the quarterback's leg. Boy.
Well, gingerly walking back to the bench with Max goes Robert Bricky. Scored 4 points in this game and 4 rebounds, 2 of 10 from the field.
That has nothing to do, really, those stats, with his contribution to the game. The job that he has done against Stitt has really been important for Duke, and now that he's out of there, the question is Duke going to be able to continue to shut off Stitt? Remember, before when Bricky went out, Stitt scored about 6 points.
Kubek's got Turner inside right now. It's Hurley against Crowley. Now Stitt, guarded by Davis. Davis got a piece of it. Saved by Henderson. Back in it goes, and finally controlled by Duke.
Duke doing the job on defense. We said who's going to guard Stitt. Davis gets a hand on it. That's a great job in a tough situation by Davis.
A 3-point Duke lead.
Coach Terry Holland extremely upset that a 5-second violation was not called.
The shot clock down to 13 seconds. Abdelnaby hands it over to Hurley. 8 seconds on the shot clock. That's the game clock in the lower right corner of your screen. Hurley inside. Dishes to Kubek.
What a great play by Hurley.
Duke by 5 in a minute to go. Crotty for three. Abdelnaby the rebound. Foul, Daniel. Boy, if Duke goes on to win this one, Dan, we'll look back at the last two series, the block by Davis and the great feed from Hurley to Kubek as the shot clock was winding down. 51 seconds left, the timeout on the floor. Duke leads Virginia 70-65. And we'll be back right after these messages.
ACC basketball has been brought to you by Pepsi, Food Lion, Ford, and by First Union National Bank.
It's Duke 70 and Virginia 65 with 51 seconds left to play. The Blue Devils at one point led by 16. Duke cut it within 3, and now it stands at 5.
Accommodations provided by Hilton Hotels, which offers frequent travelers the fastest route to a free hotel stay. Call 1-800-HILTONS for details.
Bob Rathman along with Dan Bonner and Paul Cameron at Duke, 70-65 Blue Devils, and Ala Abdelnaby at the line for the Duke Blue Devils. Hits it. 15 for Ala. And that expands the Duke lead to 6. And if he hits this one, Dan, that means at least 3 possessions for UVA.
Virginia going to have to go seriously to that three-point shot. Terry Holland obviously concerned.
Crotty brings it up. Daniel back to Crotty. Jeff sets the screen. Crotty lets it fly. Timeout, Virginia. So exactly what the doctor ordered. A career-high 30 points for John Crotty. 22 in the second half, and he has hit 4 3-pointers in the second period of play.
Very well-conceived play that time by Virginia to free Crotty for the three-point shot. Normally in a basketball game, if you're the guy guarding Jeff Daniel who set a great pick, you don't necessarily go out and try to switch that screen on the outside that far from the basket. But at this time of the game, when you know Virginia's going for the three-point play, you'd rather make Crotty give up the basketball with a screen and roll to Daniel going to the basket. You don't want Crotty to shoot that three-point shot, particularly a wide-open three-point shot. So whoever is Daniel's matchup, that guy's got to get out. In this case, it was Abdelnaby, has got to get out there and force Crotty to give up the ball. Got to switch that screen.
Coming up next, ACC basketball continues from Littlejohn Coliseum. It's the Maryland Terrapins against the Clemson Tigers. The Terps winning their ACC opener over Wake Forest on Thursday night, and the ACC opener for Cliff Ellis and company. Well, Dan, the point you were making about the defensive philosophy there for Duke, it just shows you how the three-pointer has changed the game in late-game situations. You used to defend inside out, now you defend outside in.
Yeah, that's really true, Bob. It's a very interesting kind of concept. Used to be you just pack back in, make him shoot that jump shot. Now that's one of the last things you want him to do, particularly if they have some guy who can stick it.
Duke getting it in. Hurley runs the baseline. And Duke getting the pressure. Fouling is Kenny Turner, and McCaffrey will go to the line.
Duke with some pretty good ball handlers in the game right now. Some guys who can shoot from the free throw line.
Boy, it's tough to pick out somebody to foul for Duke. Here's, Hurley's 84%. McCaffrey's 89%.
Shooting for the Blue Devils, number 5, Bill McCaffrey, 1.
Billy hit 6 of 6 from the floor in the first half and scored 12. Only one second half shot that he missed. His first opportunity at the line today.
Interesting ball game from the standpoint of the Duke Blue Devils. You got big contributions from McCaffrey and Hurley in the first half. McCaffrey offensively, Hurley defensively, and then in the second half, Duke punching it inside. Is a different kind of game, going inside to Leitner and Abdelnaby. Abdelnaby in particular with a real fine second half inside.
A 6-point lead for Duke. 34 seconds left. And Virginia looking for that three-pointer. And here's their main man, John Crotty.
You can see now everybody coming out and guarding him.
Turner had his shot blocked by Bobby Hurley.
Boy, Hurley's made a couple of big plays down the stretch here. Foul against John Crotty. Hurley with a big first-half defensive job against John Crotty. That big pass inside to Kubek now draws the foul against Crotty.
74-68 Duke. And Hurley to the line. Hurley with 9 assists today. He go a long way with wrapping up this one with success at the line. He puts it home. 8 points for Bob. With destroying just one factor in this young man's game. He's done so many things well today. 9 points for Hurley. 8-point Duke lead. Stiff lost the handle. Picked up by Duke. Well, the Blue Devils are going to win this one. Hurley backs it out, and the clock runs down. The streak continues as the Duke Blue Devils defeat the Virginia Cavaliers. On a day where the Blue Devils and their fans celebrate the golden anniversary of Cameron Indoor Stadium, Mike Krzyzewski's club wins its 7th consecutive ACC opener, knocking off Terry Holland and the Virginia Cavaliers the final. Duke 76 and Virginia 68. We'll be back to wrapping up here at Cameron Indoor Stadium in just a moment. But right now we'll pause for a word from our good friends at Natural Light.